I think he's kind of like Sargon of Akkad, but he also does like scientific experiments and stuff. And I think he's a little bit smarter, maybe a little bit. I like them both though. But they were on opposing sides of the Brexit argument, and they were able to argue about it without being assholes to each other, or without hating each other afterwards. It was amazing.
That's worth noting for sure. I'd like to think that any two rational people can argue vehemently and loudly and even aggressively with each other while not actually thinking that it has any impact on the relationship between the two people, you know?
It might depend on the argument, though. I mean, there's some arguments that if you land on opposite sides of, it might be pretty impossible to have social interactions with that person. You know what I mean?
I don't. Because, I mean, look, I feel perfectly happy hanging... I feel perfectly happy chilling and chatting with Wadad.
I believe that people with
even though I think the thing she supports is appalling, huh?
I believe that people with beards should be killed.
Okay, well, I mean, as long as it's a belief.
You want me dead as well?
Me too.
I don't really believe this. It's my point.
But hold on. My point would be that's fine. That's fine. Wadad adheres to a belief system that thinks I should be imprisoned because of my blasphemous views, or even killed.
I said killed.
Or even killed. But the point is, just because everybody believes stupid shit, right? As long as you're not taking action against me, it's fine. You can believe that if you want. We can talk about it. Why do you think I should be killed because of my beard? That's interesting. Tell me about it. Let's be friends.
A rational person wouldn't believe that, though, and because of that, they would not react appropriately.
It encourages people to thinking you're aggressive, apparently, and then causes the split up of the human relations. So therefore, people with beards should be banned because it's causing a split in relationships. Because people are scared of others with long beards.
But why is a beard uniquely endowed with the splitting ability that makes it and not other divisive things of equivalent nature bannable?
Stereotypes.
So as long as the stereotype's strong enough, we should ban something?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I'm banning myself. I don't even know why.
Well, I think you just made a compelling case as to why, sir. I agree. You should be banned. You're divisive. I'm feeling divided by your beard right now. In fact, what I've concluded, I'm going to divide it further. It's not all beards. It's your beard. That's the problem.
Why mine? Do I look like a member of Islam?
But I've done some experiments, and mine is the opposite of divisive. It's inclusive. It's what's the word? What's glue? Adhesive. It's adhesive. That's what it is. My beard is adhesive.
Ew.
I'm not adhesive.
I think an adhesive beard is not what you want.
What I mean by that, third person host Tiffany, is that like a good meal, my beard brings people together.
So people want to eat the beard?
Yes. Often, if you don't see me, the reason you see me in my garage so much is when I'm out in the world. Often, I've got several people attached to me by their mouths, trying to get part of my beard. It's a constant struggle to keep the beard this length because people are always chewing parts of it off.
That's too much.
Especially when it's covered in gel.
Yeah, it's
true because babies bite beards, but because of social expectations of adults, they don't give in to the need.
Usually, but they're not usually faced with a beard this glorious. And I do cover it in jam, as I think Unify mentioned, to attract the flies. I do it as a service, a general service for people. I think if there's going to be flies someplace, rather than having them impose jam boy status on a small Indian child, I'll just put jam in my beard. Anytime there are British people there, I worry about that, you see. Because I know you guys have a history of covering small Indian children with jam. It's just part of my altruism. I try to protect them.
I can't. It's too much.
Doing a good deed.
Anyway, what are we talking about again in this video?
Best parts aren't getting recorded. We could have had the jam video.
Um,
And then beard video.
well, I'm recording right now. I mean, this is
Oh, you
all been
are?
recorded. Yeah, this has been recorded.
Oh, cool. Oh, we do have it. That's good.
The
It's not
earlier,
wasted.
I started, I don't know, about, let's see how long ago. It appears to be about how long? 5 minutes and 28 seconds long at the moment. So I don't believe we've actually started a topic yet on this conversation. Does anybody have anything in mind?
We'll have to name it on the go.
Okay.
Jammy beards.
Yeah. Well, a lot. You know, one thing that I think is true about beards, as a generalization, let's see if you guys agree, is that people with beards are more likely to be libertarian. Any thoughts on that?
It's true. Scientifically.
Scientifically, scientists study these things. They probably did,
True.
right?
Before I started transitioning, I had a beard a lot, but that's because my fiance
It's a good point.
If I were a prosecutor, I wouldn't choose me for a jury.
And your singer friend is right.
Oh, no.
I'm dying. That was so funny.
Well, don't die, Tiffany.
Eventually.
I have been on a jury, and you know, I voted to acquit, and it was we acquitted the guy.
What did he do?
Well,
Hope you didn't do it if you acquitted him.
well, he did something, but we had a certain righteous indignation, and we chose not to convict him anyway. I'll tell you the story. I've told the story on some other video before, but hopefully nobody here's heard the story, so I'll tell the story. It was jury duty. I went down there very excited to be on the jury, as always, so as soon as they started asking the questions, I gave very non-responsive answers to help myself get on the jury. Because if I told them the truth, then they would kick me off the jury. And I didn't want to lie, because I just don't feel like lying, you know, I don't like to lie. So I gave really grunty, non-responsive answers to everything, right? And in fact, nobody kicked me off the jury. So I got on the jury, and being the type of person that I am, I managed to get myself as the foreman of the jury. I got myself elected as
Of course
foreman.
you did, Eric.
Well, you know, I don't know. I'm like that. I want to be like the center guy or something. In a certain sense like that, because I know everybody else is not as qualified as me to do the jury duty for me. I'm like really interested in like law stuff, right? The only other guy that was in the running for it was a doctor, but he suggested he went with me, and then everybody went with me. So
He didn't want to do the work.
he didn't care. He's like, I'm a doctor. Everybody thinks I'm God or whatever. People think weird stuff about doctors. Anyway, forget that. This is a long story already, and I haven't even started it. So here's the deal. There's this big dude, big black guy, about 35 years old. He's the defendant. And then there's a prosecutor, and he's this guy who's got weird glasses on that go all around here. And he says he's got an eye problem. He's got to wear these weird glasses. But he spends a lot of time in voir dire. If you're not familiar with voir dire, it's the jury selection process, asking people if they are bothered by his glasses and if that's going to cause them to vote for the defendant, you know? Which is a weird thing to be obsessed about, because nobody cares about his fucking glasses, right? Nobody cares about this guy's glasses.
Vote for the defendant because you brought it up.
Anyway.
I wasn't, but now I am.
And then he tries to set up his case, right, in the voir dire as well, by saying things like, now, if I told you, if there was, in a case like, I said, Joe threw this blue pen at Bob, and then somebody in the case says, actually, he thought it was a black pen. Would you still agree that a pen was thrown at Bob? And I'm like, I'm just like, yeah. Because I thought of a million different responses to that, right? Which is, you can't just answer that yes or no. But anyway, so after voir dire, the prosecutor starts making his case. He's got two defendants. one was named John. The other one, I don't forget his name now.
What was the case? What was the charges?
I'll tell you right now. Starts making his case. And he's charged them with simple assault, assault with a deadly weapon, and felony assault with a tear gas weapon. Here's the case that goes at. So the defendant is at the window of a gas station. It's like 2 in the morning. And he's got a stack of money. He works as a security guard nearby in Koreatown. Now, if you don't know LA, then Koreatown is like near downtown. It's not really a very nice area to be out late at night in. It's kind of a little sketchy, I guess. A little sketchier than around here anyway. And so behind the defendant roll up these 2 guys who are like 21 years old. One of them is this Asian dude, and one of them is this white dude. And they're both dumb as shit. Okay? Like, they're the 2 dumbest guys I've ever seen in a witness stand, probably. And they're literally they both testify, and they talk like this. This is their story, okay? First I'll be the white guy. And the Asian guy sound basically exactly the same. Yeah, so, like, we gone to this bar, and I didn't even drink anything hardly. I just had, like, 1 drink at 9 o'clock. And, now keep in mind, they're rolling up in this gas station at 2 a.m. So he's been sitting in this bar, according to his testimony, nursing 1 drink to 9 o'clock in the evening for, like, 5 hours, right? Yeah, sure you're going to believe that, jury. So they were kind of drunk, is my assumption. And so we go up to this guy, and I'm like, hey, man, how's it going? And he, like, didn't even answer me. And I'm like, I said, hey, how's it going, man? And he turned around, and he's like, get away from me. And I'm like, hey, fuck you, man. And you should be nicer than that. And so then he, like, walked away from the window after he got his thing. And I was like, yeah, fuck you, man. All I said was, hey, how you doing? What's your fucking problem? And I, like, walked after him for a little while. And then it's like I turned around. And then next thing I know, he totally hit me with his squeegee. And he had gotten a plastic squeegee from his car, the defendant had. This guy started falling into his car, right? And he hit him with it. Now, it was like a 99-cent store squeegee. They had it in a plastic evidence bag. It's all in a million pieces. It's not even like the squeegee from the gas station, right? It's just it broke into a million pieces when he hit him with it, I guess. Or it fell on the ground and got run over. Who knows? But it's not a very sturdy squeegee. It's like the shittiest squeegee you could possibly buy. And the defense attorney's like, so, did you get injured by the squeegee? Yeah, I had a cut on my head. Really? So did it bleed? Well, yeah, the next morning in the shower, I took a shower and it was bleeding. And the attorney's like, really? And did it bleed the next day too? He's like, no, but it was bleeding kind of a lot. And, that was what happened to him, right? So, but the guy, he's like, hey, you can't hit me with a squeegee. That was his basic response. And he starts following the defendant to his car, stands behind his car, preventing the defendant from backing his car up with his camera, taking pictures of his license plate because he's mad because the guy hit him with a squeegee. And understandably, he's mad about that. I mean, yeah, is that a simple assault? Yeah. Okay. So after the guy won't get away from his car, the Asian guy comes over and says, come on, John, get out of here. At that moment, right as the Asian guy comes over and starts pulling John away from the back of the car, the defendant has gotten pepper spray out of his car and has come and is squirting the pepper spray at John. But right as John is about to get squirted by the pepper spray, that's when the Asian guy comes in and moves John away. So the Asian guy is the one who gets all the pepper spray in his face instead. And then he runs to the cashier and asks for milk. And the cashier makes him pay for the milk before giving him the milk, which he then pours in his eyes. And then he has to ask for milk again, and he has to pay for the milk again before getting the milk. and pouring that in his eyes, at which point he says he begins to feel a little bit better. Of course, he didn't do anything, right? It was John who was doing shit. He just happened to dive in there and try to pull him away at the wrong time and get all the pepper spray. So, anyway, we all felt appalled that this guy was being charged with felony assault with a tear gas weapon and with assault with a deadly weapon for what was clearly only a simple assault. And we didn't like the fact that the prosecutor was overcharging this guy, trying to force him to plea. That's why he overcharges like that, right? And so we ended up saying, fuck you, and we found him not guilty entirely. And I don't feel one shred of regret over it. Because that's an abuse of the prosecutor's position to be overcharging people like that. And that's my story.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tip is sleep.
Another thing, actually, I wanted to say is I've just noticed your shirt. That's cool as well, Eric.
Oh, thank you. In fact, I owed Tiffany a shirt. She sent me a snail mail, and I said I'd send her one, but I never sent it yet. If you want a shirt, the rule officially, I don't feel super bad about not sending it yet because she didn't follow the rule anyway. The rule officially is if you send me a postcard from the general area where you live, be it the city, county, state, I don't care. And if you can't find like your city, you're from the state of Delaware, you just want to send Delaware, that's fine, you know. But, you know, I was hoping to have a picture to put up on the wall there, you know. Anyway, if you send me a postcard with your return address where you want it mailed, I will mail you a shirt. I have a whole bunch of them, and they all look like this. I got them screen printed by this guy I know named Johnny Pepper, and we went downtown to the Garment District and bought blank T-shirts and everything. It was cool, just fun.
Is that his real name?
Donnie Pepper? I don't know. It's a good question.
Is his drug dealer name?
No, he's not a drug dealer. He's a drummer. That's similar to a drug dealer, though. He's a drummer. And like another drummer, well, actually, Donnie Pepper, I think, is ESFP. But another drummer, my drummer, I know, is ESTP. I think that ESP combination somehow goes along well with drumming. Or it could just be a coincidence.
Now, has Tiffany's video frozen, or are they just very, very still?
Oh, she has paused it, and the reason is, I suppose, because she was getting loaded, probably. She seemed to be getting fairly loaded there with her Smirnoff Ice and other potential medications.
Yeah, I thought it looked a bit too much like a wax figure.
Oh, it doesn't even show paused on your screen. It says paused here on mine.
Oh no, it doesn't say that on mine.
Okay, well, that is 20. Let's see, about 20 minutes of recording. So let's stop this video here. It included some fun conversation at the beginning, and then it included Eric's long and apparently boring story that fell like a Led Zeppelin, as they say. And it ended with this disclaimer, thereby absolving me of all guilt. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.